The ants and the grasshopper. The ants were spending a fine winter's day drying grain collected in the summertime. A grasshopper, perishing with famine, passed by and earnestly begged for a little food. The ants inquired of him, "Why did you not treasure up food during the summer?" He replied, "I had not leisure enough. I passed the days in singing." They then said in derision, "If you were foolish enough to sing all the summer, you must dance supperless to bed in the winter." Very strong message here, even though he's not clearly explaining what the message is. It's pretty obvious here. This is saying, look, don't fritter, the summer days away. Like, you want to make hay while the sun shines. So while you have the opportunity, especially for the youth, when you're young, you have joy and you have an imagination and you have you know um, you have energy. Um, that's when you should be out there working and swinging and learning and trying and putting your best foot forward. Um, I always tell these young guys, like, you want to work really hard because you got to pace yourself. If you're lazy at 7, imagine when you're 37 or 67. It's like, at the very minimum, like, work like an animal when you're young. Then if you get lazy a little later, like, at least you feel like you've earned it. At least you've paced yourself. You started out when you had a lot of energy and piss and vinegar and whatnot. That you worked really, really hard. So, and, and some just they work, and they work hard, and they've got great effort, no matter how old they are, how young they are, what their situation is. But that's really what this is about. The ants and the grasshopper. I think it's a really good message. It's just reminding you that you always have um, a move as long as you're here. You largely have a move. It's not always the best move or the best moves. Um, there are some conditions obviously that are much much worse off than others. So I'm not going to minimize pain. But what this is saying is, you know, the grasshopper wouldn't have been perishing with famine had he not, stored up food during the summer, because also the implication here is that the grasshopper knows the score, right? The grasshopper knows that, you know that during the winter it's gonna be slim pickings. So don't it reminds me of the cliche, make hay while the sun is ablaze. Um, and This is very similar. He's passing the days and singing, and he's saying, and he also said that I had not leisure enough. I was singing. Well, this is kind of saying, this isn't like bashing singing. I don't think. I just think it's like connecting those sentences, saying, look, you had leisure because you were just singing all day long. It wasn't like a craft. You were just doing it for fun. And he's talking about like a hobby, or like like just hanging out. And you know it's not really knocking hobbies, but it's just saying that, like, look, do something constructive. Take care of your needs first, then take care of your wants, and then have time for your hobbies on the side. That's what they're called, hobbies, because they're on the side. Your hobbies shouldn't take up your whole day, your whole summer, as an example. So there's a lot in this 2.5 line story. Um, you know, and Like many of Aesop's stories. Um, and But yeah, I like this a lot. And then they then said in derision. So when you deride somebody, you're like mocking them, making fun of them, um, in just kind of a cruel manner. Um, it's definitely like a knock. It's not just like being jocular and silly and funny. It's like they're deriding him. So they're sort of like cruelly making fun of him. And they're just saying, look, if you're foolish enough to sing throughout the summer, you must stand supperless to bed in the winter. So they're not, and here they're telling them, look, we're not going to reward bad behavior. So that's the other thing too is, if you keep doing bad behavior, making bad decisions, people around you, don't be surprised if they don't reward that. I mean, that's kind of a life lesson also for young people, for adolescents, and for adults. I mean, some of these fables hit close to home. Some of these fables I had to get hit with these messages dozens and dozens of times before I learned. And I think we're all still growing and evolving. But I like the fact that they're short, but they're very pithy. The meaning behind these stories. So Aesop's Fables, The Ants and the Grasshopper. Thank you very much.